All right, let's dive in. Back in 1999, two colonels in China's People's Liberation Army dropped a book that honestly feels like it was written yesterday. It's called Unrestricted Warfare, and it's basically a playbook for how a nation could challenge a superpower not by meeting them head on with tanks and planes, but by fighting everywhere else. The core idea is pretty wild, and it all boils down to one foundational rule.
Just let that sink in for a second. That one sentence is the key to the entire book. It's not about bending the rules of war. It's about throwing the entire rulebook, the Geneva Convention, formal declarations of war, all of it, out the window. It sets the stage for a world where absolutely anything can be a weapon.
So, why this sudden urge to just tear up the rules? Well, they looked around at the end of the 20th century and realized that the nature of war itself had completely changed. And the proof, for them, started with a war that America thought it had won decisively.
Remember the first Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm? On TV, it looked like a stunning, high-tech victory. But these two colonels saw something else. They saw a superpower easily win the battle, but then get completely bogged down by the messy aftermath. The political chaos, the economic fallout, all the stuff that fighter jets and tanks can't fix. Their big takeaway? Pure military power just wasn't the ultimate trump card anymore.
They saw the world shifting from the old Cold War chessboard, which, while tense, was at least predictable with two main players, to, well, this. A messy, chaotic, global free-for-all. You've got multiple powers, shifting alliances, and threats popping up from all over the place. It's not a simple two-player game anymore. And this new, uncertain reality? It's the perfect environment for unrestricted warfare to thrive. So, this raises a pretty basic question. If the old rules are gone and military force isn't the be-all and end-all, then where exactly is the fighting supposed to happen?
For centuries, that question had a simple answer. It was a place, a field, a city, a physical location. But in this new era they're describing, where's the front line?
The book's answer is as simple as it is chilling. One word: everywhere. The entire concept of a battlefield being separate from civilian life, that line has just been totally erased.
So the new front lines aren't on a map. They're in the systems that run our world. Think about it. Why risk an army when you can cause a stock market crash? Why drop a bomb when you can paralyze a country's power grid with a cyber attack? The war can be fought in the media, eroding your will to fight, or even in the international courts, tying you up in legal knots. These are the battlefields of the 21st century.
Okay, so if the battlefield can be anywhere, it begs the next question: who are the soldiers?
According to the book, the Age of Giant, state-on-state armies is on its way out. Instead, a whole new cast of characters is stepping onto the world stage, and they're wielding some serious power.
What's up with the number 16? Well, that's the age of a hacker the authors pointed to as an example. A single 16-year-old kid who managed to break into dozens of secure systems, including NASA. Just process that. A teenager with a laptop caused a level of disruption that a conventional military unit could only dream of.
And these new combatants come in all shapes and sizes. It could be the lone knight-errant, as they put it, a single activist hacker with a cause. Or it could be a highly sophisticated non-state organization. And here's where it gets eerily prophetic. As an example, they specifically name the network led by Osama bin Laden. This was written in 1999, 2 years before 9/11. This analogy from the book is just perfect. They say traditional armies are like dinosaurs, massive, incredibly powerful, but also slow, cumbersome, and bound by a lot of rules. Their new opponents, they're like rodents, small, quick, incredibly adaptable, and they don't play by any rules at all. They can survive, and they can inflict way more damage than you'd expect. So you've got new battlefields and new soldiers. It only makes sense that you're going to need new weapons. And in this modern arsenal, very few of them actually go boom. This gets us to the heart of their idea: non-military warfare. Look, the goal of a conflict hasn't changed. It's still about making your enemy accept your terms. But the methods for getting there, they've expanded to include, well, everything. In this world, anything can be weaponized. And just look at this new arsenal. Economics becomes a weapon when you launch a trade war or manipulate currencies.
Culture becomes a weapon when you use media and information to shape how another country thinks. Even international law becomes a weapon, what they call lawfare, to tie your enemy in procedural knots. Every one of these is a tool in the toolbox.
So we have new battlefields, new soldiers, and new weapons. But how do you put all these pieces together effectively? The author's answer is their single most important strategic idea, the combination principle. The real masterstroke isn't any single superweapon. It's about creatively combining all of them. So imagine this. You don't just do a cyber attack. You launch a cyber attack during a major military exercise, while at the same time, you use financial markets to crash their currency, and you're also pushing a viral disinformation campaign on social media. Each action makes the others more powerful. That synergy is the essence of unrestricted warfare.
And so we're left with this really unsettling question, a question that's way more relevant today than when they wrote it more than 2 decades ago. When the battlefield is everywhere, when anyone can be a combatant, and when anything can be a weapon, how do you even know what winning looks like anymore? How do you know when it's over?